Hi guys, Elaine here, the Animal Reiki Lady. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Thanks for joining me. It's time for another reading. Today's reading is for Otto, and Otto has been on my mind for the past few days. Otto crossed the Rainbow Bridge last week, and Otto's mama does not even know that I'm doing this at the moment because Otto started talking to me last night as I fell asleep, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. As I was falling asleep and hasn't stopped and has given me such new insights. Every time that I think animals have taught me as much as there is to know, they teach me something else. So I can't wait to share this story of Otto with you. But first, for those of you who may be catching me for the very first time, my name is Elaine. I'm an animal Reiki master, and I help people build really deep, personal, spiritual healing connections with the animals in their life, and that includes animals who have crossed to the other side. So when we are left feeling that grief, when we are left feeling bereft and devastated, that's where animals have started connecting with me and helping me share information that helps you heal. And it all started with my Lucy back in 2020. You guys have probably all heard this story before, but August of 2020, when Lucy crossed the Rainbow Bridge, she had been with me for almost 14 years, and she opened a door so wide that it doesn't ever close, and the animals continue to share with me information that I can share with you. Okay, so what do we want to talk about today with Otto? Otto has shifted my entire perspective. And so for Otto's mama, I know this message is not just for you, it is for everybody. Otto has given me such really amazing insights. And I want to share that I had some resistance. So when Otto's humans first reached out to me to say that Otto had crossed, Otto was a client in life. And when Otto crossed the Rainbow Bridge, they reached out to say, I think that we are ready for a reading, for a connection. We want to be able to connect with him on the other side. And this resistance immediately rose up in me, and I don't have any explanation for it other than Otto was just waiting for the right opportunity. And maybe I was not ready to receive this information at the time. So I felt this resistance. And so last night when I went to sleep, I walked the talk. Yeah, I walked the talk, guys. I suggest that right before sleep, as you're drifting off into that sleepy space, is the magic spot, the sweet spot, where we can connect with animals without our conscious mind getting in the way to question and doubt. And so right before sleep, I just set the intention to be able to connect with Otto, to receive whatever information he wanted to share with me. I wanted to give his mama something special because we had worked together in life, and I wanted to have her have such a special message, and he was just waiting for the right moment. So as I fell asleep, and as always, I've got notes, guys. So when I look away from the camera, it's because I have scrawled all over everything. I do this thing called automatic writing. When I go into a quiet space in meditation, sometimes it's not even a meditation, as in today, it was once again as I was working out because I was in the zone. And when you get in the zone, that's when also a door opens. So I am. I immediately came back and I'm scrawling over every surface. I write on mirrors. I write on dry erase boards. I have my phone is full of notes. So I have these notes here to share with you about Otto. And that's how excited I am about this message that Otto wants to share. So I asked for the message, and the message that came through was some of the things that I recommend to you are about belief, and to believe and to trust that your animal companion has not left, that their energy has simply shifted from one form to another, that just because they're not in their physical body anymore doesn't mean they don't exist. They do exist, just in a different form. And people say to me, I try to believe, but I can't. I want to, but I can't. The grief is too strong. The grief is unbearable. I feel devastated. I feel left alone. Even the words are making me cry because these are some of the conversations that I have. The grief is unbearable. I feel abandoned, and I just don't feel it. And I can't believe that this sadness is upon me. So how do we get to the point of belief? Oh, this is the part that came to me, right? So I was listening to a story about the Boston Marathon, and the Boston Marathon is coming up in April. And somebody said to me, The Boston Marathon, as you know, is like only the best of the best runners run the Boston Marathon, and it's intense and it's like hard doesn't even describe how difficult of a challenge, physical challenge it is. And the person said to me, during the Boston Marathon at about mile 20, everybody gets religion. And that's because they're feeling so ready to quit that they just call on every possible thing: angels, God, spirits, anybody, lift my legs. And that's what I think that our grief may be like. What could be the possibility that, is it a possibility that grief is a wake-up call? That grief, we feel that intense grief as our wake-up call. We are at mile 20 of the Boston Marathon and we get religion. And I'm not saying you have to go out. I'm talking all of a sudden we have no choice but to believe. We are feeling so devastated, so full of grief, so beyond healing that we have no choice but to call out to our animals, to angels, to God, universe, spirit, source, I don't care what you call it, but that we have to believe. There's no choice but to believe, because what else is there? And when we feel that level of grief, when we're down on our knees begging and pleading for the feeling to go away, for that grief to go away, for that burden to be lifted from us, is that when we go to the next level? Is that when we have opened the door, the crack, for our pet to profoundly heal us, for our animal companion to just push that crack open a little bit further? It's like our hearts have cracked wide open, and our animal companion says, yes, now is the time. When you are in the middle of a huge, ugly cry, feeling that devastation, on your knees, pleading for it to go away, it's like you are sending an SOS. That SOS, I say that everything is connected. Everything is connected. All energy of every living thing is connected. That's the root, that's the core of what I teach in Reiki, which is that oneness. And when you send out that SOS, it's like ripples spread out into the universe, or like there's a cord from your heart straight to your animal's heart, and you have plucked that cord, you have pinged that cord, and that SOS goes out to your animal companion, and that is when the beauty happens. That is when the healing begins. That's when we should go quiet. Recognize that time. You are right there. You are at your most vulnerable, but also at your most open. This is what Otto was sharing with me. Otto showed me that some of the message I share just needs a little tweak. And he tweaked it for me. He showed me exactly that's when the beauty happens. I often have said that when they go to heaven, right? When they go to the Rainbow Bridge, when they transition their energy, that they go up here because they immediately go into pure positive love, and we are way down here in grief. And the two are so far apart that we cannot meet. But what Otto showed me is that there is a string that goes from one to the other. And when we are at our lowest and we send out that SOS, it travels right up to them and it allows them to come in. That is the time they will dive right down and lift you up. That is the time to quiet your mind, to go still for just a moment, to allow them in to help you heal. And it goes one step further. You allow them into that space. They begin to heal you just in the smallest way. Let the healing begin. Let them in. Let them into your heart. Feel it with your heart. Each day, the healing will get a little bit stronger. They will not leave you. And then you can connect. And then your vibration begins to rise, and you are able to kind of start to rise above the grief, rise above the devastation. It opens that door for belief. Even if you were just to say, all right, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to try to believe. That alone is the next step up. And little by little, the grief will dissipate, and in its place, they will fill your heart with the strongest feeling of love. Lean into that feeling and you'll be able to connect with them. That is the link right there. So for Otto's mama, I don't know if this was the reading you were expecting. It certainly was not the reading I was expecting. But I asked last night for Otto to share with me what I needed to share, and that is what came through loud and clear. That even in the midst of our grief, we are sending out an SOS that our animals will answer, and it's animal guided healing. They will come to us, they will help us heal, and in that healing, we'll find connection, and that connection won't ever end. It will stay with us forever, forever. Thank you, Otto. I am so grateful to all of you for allowing me to share this time with your animals, and to all of your animal companions for sharing in my heart all of these beautiful messages. They're angels. They are absolutely angels. I believe that every angel has an animal by their side, and every animal has an angel by their side. And when we begin to listen to their messages, our lives change forever for the better. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. I hope you have a great, beautiful, amazing morning, afternoon, evening, a beautiful night's rest, and may the animals light your way. Take care.